Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, and welcome to another episode of the Geek Out Room podcast. Don't forget, you can tune into our podcast episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Just type in Geek Out Room podcast, and you should find us. Today, we're talking about that company, Sony, again. This time, not necessarily in the video game space. We'll be diving into that a little bit, but mostly Sony is in the anime news this time because if you didn't know, Sony is the owner of Crunchyroll. They bought up Crunchyroll and basically bought up Right Stuff Anime, which was a place where you could buy manga and figures and stuff for relatively cheap because they had a lot of discounts. Manga's already cheaper than like graphic novels and comic books because of manga is black and white and cheaper pages and stuff compared to comic books, graphic novels that are fully colored pages and stuff like that, and multiple issues into one graphic novel. So that's why the cost would be like $20, $25 depending, right? Compared to a manga volume. So Crunchyroll now has their online store behind a paywall. That's right. Starting, I believe, this year, August. I know it's this year. I think it's either August or September. But starting this year, later this year, you will no longer be able to go to Crunchyroll.com or use your app or use a Crunchyroll app or anything like that to buy anything off their website without first being a member, right, of Crunchyroll. So if you are not a member of Crunchyroll, all right, you will no longer be able to access their website, which is crazy. And this is another example of Sony continuing to dive into this fully digital world they want to create for their ecosystem, right? Because as you know, if you didn't know, on the video game side of things, Sony is getting rid of discs starting 2028. They already started repurposing their disc factories to do other products for them. So they're not turning back this decision. They do not care about the online outrage because statistically the numbers show that most people buy digitally, not physically anymore. Now there are different statistics and different charts you can use to argue against that or at least that there is still a majority of people, or at least not even a majority, but there is still a good amount of people, like a really good amount of people that still prefer to buy physical discs. But doesn't matter. Sony, they said, hey, 2028, the future is digital. And this is another huge step into that digital world because the fact that obviously this is a website, it's already digital. This is a streaming service, Crunchyroll, for anime. This is already digital. But the fact that with digital comes digital storefronts, and with digital storefronts, the companies have a lot more control, right? Because they're no longer having to abide by or appease retailers, right? Big box storefronts. They don't have to do that anymore. They don't have to split certain things anymore. Now it's just more, they get more profit. And also, some retailers get more profit too. So for some retailers, it's better, or developers, it's better like for it to be a digital too, because again, when it comes to all these things with physical, sometimes you have to really go and trickle down, like money goes here, money goes there, this person gets paid, that person gets paid, right? And you don't get to keep as much profit, so the margins can be smaller. But yeah, going all digital, you can control things like this. You can start doing things like Crunchyroll here, where hey, if you want to buy manga and these graphic tees or these figures you really like buying from us, you can. But now you have to be a Crunchyroll subscriber to have access to our online store, right? You know who else does a similar system like that? Costco. Crunchyroll is acting like Costco. The only difference is Costco you can buy wholesale and you can get discounts, and it could be cheaper, and it could be more affordable option, or more at least economical option for you compared to going to your local grocery store and just buying way less and all this other stuff. Adds up to more. It can anyway. So yeah, I have my notes written down here too. Like, again, store hidden behind a paywall. You have to use you have to have a subscription or to buy stuff merchandise off their websites. Um, they did say the Crunchyroll store have exclusive drops, and they do, but I'm assuming they're going to lean more into the exclusive drop territory now. So they're going to do more like, hey guys, like we're going to have a partnership of one big one. Sony would be Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is super popular. They saw the popularity. They didn't release the digital or put up to the streaming service for that movie for a very long time. I don't even know if it's still up there. It could be up there now, but a long time. It was a long time since it's been in the theaters. They never released on their streaming platform. So they're like, hey, going forward, we could have a lot more. We can make more Demon Slayer merch and put it behind this paywall, and we know people are going to buy it and it's going to want people to subscribe to our service. Because again, how do streaming services get money? Well, now they have ad tiers, so they can get through ads too. But how do they really get money? And that's subscriptions. They need subscribers. How do you get subscribers? You make your service more appealing, especially now that Netflix is heavily in the anime game, like heavily 10 toes deep into the anime game. You have Disney getting more and more into the anime game. You have Amazon Prime getting more and more into the anime game. So, and there's probably others that I forgot about, at least in terms of the West, right? So, you have so many places that are starting to get anime. It's not just Crunchyroll anymore, and Crunchyroll's anime only. Which anime is so big now that it's starting to be okay to be that way. But at least with Netflix and some of these other sites, you get more. You get more for your buck. Netflix, you can watch anime, but you can also watch Scandal, or you can watch anime or Demon Slayer. You can also go watch whatever event they're streaming, like a UFC event or a WWE event or whatever. Like you get more for your buck that way. So they have to compete. And so for Sony, their way of competing is like, hey, we'll start dominating the anime market more and start if they already have a huge domination of the anime market anyway. But like, hey, we can start doing more exclusive merch drop and deals with a lot of these anime that we have on our service. But to do that, you need to be subscribed to us, and it's going to have this demand. They'll have this supply of new stuff and these exclusive drops, especially how people eat up and pay money for anything now when it comes to like Pokemon, all this other stuff. Especially how One Piece is going. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot more merch drops you can only get through Sony, through Crunchyroll, through the website that's now behind a paywall. So I can see the vision of what they're going to do. Because there's only reason why you would put this behind a paywall. And the only reason why people would pay to do this paywall, besides to watch anime, would be they want access to these drops. But to do it, you're going to need to have some really juicy drops. You're going to have to have stuff that people are going to be really willing to pay even the most bomb tier a month payment to get access to your website. Right? So it's going to be hard. Excuse me. It's going to be really hard to see how this goes. I don't know. Yeah, they have some discounts on Crunchyroll, but not anything compared to Right Stuff. Which, if you don't know about Right Stuff, it was a website where you can get like manga at the time, where you get manga, Blu-rays and stuff, a lot more affordable and things like that. So it was one of those websites that you got rid of it for, and not for anything good. So it didn't really make sense. It made sense because you want, again, domination over the anime and manga market. But it just really sucks that this is how we're doing it. Like the fact that this is how we're doing it is really crappy, man. It's really crappy, and it again, it's not the best, but I get it. It's not the best, but I get it. Uh, I get it. Like, again, I don't love it. I hate what Sony's doing, but I get it. Because at the end of the day, people have proven that they're okay with this. People have proven they're okay with this. And there's nothing else we can really do about this. Because at the end of the day, like, again, the people who are okay with old digital stuff, this is the kind of stuff you get. And I'm not saying that anime fans only, again, when it comes to us, DVDs are a lot more expensive. In terms of, for every series, not every series gets a DVD as fast and all this other stuff. So it's way more convenient to stream on Crunchyroll than to buy physical media. But you have stuff like Black Lagoon, which is a cult classic, and it's gone off their service now. So unless you have a physical copy, you can't really watch Black Lagoon online. And Sony and Crunchyroll have went out their way to definitely destroy every single streaming, well, let's just say non-legal streaming site, quotations right there, for this. So there's really not a lot of ways. And this is, again, I knew they were laying the tracks. When they started striking all these other streaming sites down the line, I knew they were setting tracks for something. And this is that something. And I'm telling y'all right now, going back to gamers for a second before I end this episode, I'm telling gamers right now, if you think this is not your future, if this succeeds, if anime fans falter and let this happen, not let this happen, but like they fall for it and do this new what did Sony try to say? It's a new curated experience. Like I said, they're trying to make it an experience, right? So if anime fans eat away at this, gaming, you're next, because it's the same company. And if it works for Crunchyroll, you think they won't transfer it to PlayStation? You think they won't be like, hey, if you want to buy any games for your PS6 or PS5, PS6, if you want to buy games for that system, now that's going to be all digital, you have to have a membership. You have to have a PlayStation Plus membership in order to purchase a video game for your PlayStation moving forward. That's the future. Or they're going to say, or if not, every video game is definitely going to be PlayStation exclusives. Like, hey, you want the next God of War game, and not not the one that's coming out, but like a future one is going to be like, hey, because I know they said that's going to be a disc one. They're going to be like, hey, you want the new God of War? You're going to need a PlayStation Plus subscription. That's the only way you get that PlayStation exclusive, my boy. That's it. That's it. Hey, you want the next Spider-Man game? PlayStation Plus. Behind the paywall. You cannot download, you cannot purchase to rent this game. Not even purchase. You cannot rent this game because you're not going to own any digital games. You cannot purchase / rent this game, quotations, without PlayStation Plus subscription. So you can't buy games without PlayStation Plus subscription. You can't play single player games without PlayStation Plus subscription. You can't play multiplayer without Wi-Fi and a PlayStation Plus subscription. You can't do nothing. There's not one game. You can't download Fortnite on your PlayStation, a free-to-play game. You cannot download that on your PlayStation to play that game unless you have a PlayStation Plus subscription. That is the future that we're heading. And again, if it's not legal to do those other things with every video game, I promise you, it will be their exclusives. Because again, they want to do this curated new experience. They want to make you have to get a PlayStation. They want to bend your will. Like, no. Forget physical media. That's in the past. You're living in the past. The future is digital and it's behind a paywall, and you're going to pay that money to be a part of this exclusive ecosystem, the Sony ecosystem, because you're weak and you love games enough where you're going to pay $100-something for these new games and you're going to like it. And not only that, you're going to have to pay for PlayStation Plus, even if it's a single player game, because you're going to like it and because you want it and you don't want to feel left out. That's what they're selling. They're using FOMO to price everything up and justify what they're doing because it's a part of a new experience, an exclusive experience with exclusive PlayStation merch drops. I'm telling you, come 2020, like this old digital thing in 2028, once that marinates for like a year, 2029, 2030, especially with the Olympics in LA, I'm sure Sony's going to, all companies are going to always try with these world events, do something, especially with the World Cup, do something to advertise something or launch something new. I expect 2028 to be, or no, 2028 is the Olympics, sorry, not 2030, 2028. So I expect something crazy around the Olympics time and then a couple years after that. So we'll see. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this new Crunchyroll experience. It's really sad that this is where digital fronts were going. I'll probably do a video on the YouTube channel, Sauces Entertainment, more about just diving a little bit more into this. So like, comment, subscribe, and share. See you on the next one. Don't forget, we're taking donations on our Ko-fi page to help this business because we need more funds in order to operate, because we do cover a lot of stuff in the news. So it'll be really helpful to get some donations if you can. I'll put the link to that in the description box below. See you on the next one. Keep geeking out. Peace.